Well, here's a confession, I always feel a little intimidated by preaching on Christmas. First of all, I very rarely preach from the pulpit, so that's always a scary thing for a start off. I don't like being up here, really. I'm not a guru. I don't have any special knowledge. I'm just a fellow pilgrim along the way, truly. The second is, I always struggle with what to say. I mean, what can I say that hasn't been already said a million times, and so much more better, and with more erudition than I can possibly do. And thirdly, I always feel, and especially this year, I don't know why, but I always feel kind of at the end of a frenetic dance. Usually things start to heat up just before Thanksgiving, and then I feel as if I'm kind of on a conveyor belt, just sort of taking me through Advent and into Christmas and New Year. Not that it's bad, I'm not saying that at all, but it's just especially busy. And I feel kind of always slightly guilty because, I preach, for heaven's sake, about, mindfulness and being in the moment and, really savoring and trying to watch out for God and to slow down. And do I ever do it? A very good neighbor of mine stopped his car. He's a pediatrician, and his father is a minister, retired now. And over Thanksgiving, he and his family spent time with his parents. And anyway, he stopped the car in the middle of the street to tell me a joke because he said, I can never remember jokes, so I have to tell you this now before I forget. So I said, fine, Eddie, okay, just don't cause an accident. He said, what does the priest do on a Saturday afternoon? Practice what she preaches. Well, I thought it was good, and it's the kind of joke that I can remember, because it's not very hard. But it is very difficult to practice what you preach. It is very difficult. And it is very, very difficult to not be caught up in the busyness. In part, I think, because we like to be busy. I like to be busy, because busyness makes me feel important. Busyness fills the moments of quiet and stillness, because if I am truly quiet and I am truly still, what will I hear? Or will I hear anything at all? Anyway, when I get to today and Christmas, to use a metaphor, if Christmas was like going to a fancy party at a hotel, I always feel as if I'm just running into the lobby, tying up my tie, trying to button my shirt at the same time, and I know a shoelace is undone, and I'm breathless. And here it is, and the party's already started, but I am here, and you're here. And so whatever we bring, wherever we have been, God welcomes us. Because isn't that the nature of grace? Grace and love are freely given. They're not something that we actually have to be ready for. They're not actually something that we need to earn or need to be worthy for even. And that is so hard to accept, isn't it? Because when in life is something ever given to us unconditionally, there's always quid pro quo. There's always, well, I'll do this and I'll expect something in return, especially in families. My mother, bless her, my maiden aunties, and when I was young, I seemed to have a lot of them, although some of them were related and some of them weren't. But of course, they were always very, very generous, and they used to send me Christmas gifts every year. And then Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas in England, my mother would remind me, but don't forget, she said, you've got to write your thank you notes to all your aunties, And I would say, yes, Mom, yes, absolutely, I'll do that. And the day after, and the day after. And finally, the day before school started, my mother would, when I was very small, sit me down forcibly and watch over me until I had written all those thank you cards. Unconditional love, unconditional grace. That's the gift. That's what Christmas is all about. Someone gives us a gift, God gives us this blessing, and doesn't actually require anything in return. Would love our love, yes, would love our attention, as a lover pines for their beloved. I'm never quite ready. I'm never really prepared. When shortly after I left college, I rented a house with two other guys who were still students at the time, and shortly after we moved into the house, we had agreed that we were going to have a housewarming party. Well, one of the other guys said, well, can you leave it for a little while, because he said, I want to get my room tidy, and I want to get my stuff in the house, and I want to have time to invite my friends. And we said, fine, that's okay. So we kind of delayed it for 4 or 5 weeks. And then the night before the party, I spoke to this roommate of mine and said, I won't give you his name, and I said, Scott and I are just going to go to the store and we're buying stuff for the party. How many people did you invite? And there was this kind of momentary awkward silence, and Peter said, there you go, I told you his name. Peter said, well, I haven't invited anyone. And I said to him, trying to be very controlled, well, what do you mean you haven't invited anyone? We delayed this party for you so that you could invite your friends, and now you're saying you're not going to invite any friends? What's that all about? And he said, well, I just wasn't emotionally prepared. I mocked him at the time, but now I really know how he feels. Am I ever emotionally prepared for Christmas? Am I ever ready for the coming of the Son of God? And if I was, what would that really take? As I said, love is just freely given, and grace is a gift to us. And how does God come? How is God known? Or perhaps it's like how it was in the Bible, an angel coming to Mary. Maybe you haven't had an angel visit you, but maybe you've had someone in disguise as an angel, a friend or a work colleague, or maybe even a stranger who said something kind of odd to you, but really made sense. Something that challenged, or something that affirmed, or something that drew you out of yourself. Or maybe God has come to you in a dream, like God came to Joseph in a dream and said, Joseph, don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife. All will be well. Trust in me and trust in my love. Maybe God has come unto you in a dream. Or maybe God has come to you in a chorus of angels, like to those shepherds. And maybe it wasn't quite a chorus of angels, but maybe it was a vision of beauty. Maybe in McDonald Forest, or on Mary's Peak on a sunny day and looking out at the valley, and there was all God's creation before you. Maybe that's when God came. Or maybe you're like the Magi and God came as a shining star, leading the way. And maybe it wasn't quite a star in the night sky, but maybe it was a major event, either good or hard, that kind of shook you up and changed your life, changed the direction and your course, and made you think again, made you reassess your priorities. Maybe got you to think about what was truly important. Maybe that's how God has come. God comes to us all the time. And hopefully God is here with us now in church tonight, through our prayers, through our songs, through our music, through reading ancient texts, through gathering, through the candlelight, through bread and wine. And what's the call? Maybe the invitation to all of us tonight, and as we reflect on this Christmas season, is to do what Mary did, is to treasure all these things and to ponder them in our hearts. Maybe tonight will be the bread for you for the journey that is to come. Who knows what the new year will bring? Who knows what adventures lie ahead of you? Who knows what struggles you will have to overcome? What challenges you will have to face? What new directions there may be? I pray that tonight would be bread and food and water for the journey. And that the Christ child will be your constant companion. That Jesus, we won't just leave him at the manger and walk away, but we might greet him on the road. So I don't know about you, I am not prepared. But I thank God that God doesn't need me to be prepared already. The Lord has come. The Lord is with us. And I'll ponder these things in my heart. Amen.